Hey, hello everyone. Just turning up the light a little bit here. I decided to come on to hang out with you guys a little bit tonight. Got my incense going because of the subject matter. That's not the reason why I have my incense going, but when I'm connecting in and I'm talking to you about other dimensions, things that are more energy based than physical based, such as dreams, because as you know, when you dream, you're like in another dimension, you're in another place, you're not physically doing the dream, so to speak. We'll talk a little bit about that. This video is going to be about past lives, parallel lives, and dreams, because I feel like they're all super connected. So anyway, I like to just set the tone in the atmosphere, and this incense is super good. I love it. And I'm ready to roll. So, past lives. You know, I don't particularly myself believe in past lives, because I'll tell you why. I use that term because people can relate to that. It's relatable. But my belief is that we're living many lives simultaneously, so all at the same time. And so we're not really linear beings. We are energetic beings, which means we're not just our physical body, okay? We are way more than our physical body. So yes, we're here on the earth having a physical experience. So that's super important. But our essence is of spirit, is of energy, in other words. And that's when you hear about the concept of one, or the concept of all that is, and how we're connected, because energy is all connected, right? So, well, I don't know if you know that, but I'm telling you, everything energetically is connected. That's why it's really important that you pay attention to the people that are in your life, or the atmospheres you choose to be in, because you might have great energy, but if you're hanging out with people that don't have great energy, and what do I mean by great energy? Maybe you can't sense energy. But you know, I think everybody has that gut feeling, like it feels really bad when I'm around that person. I don't know why. Or when I'm around that person, I feel really good. Like, you know, how you feel when you're around certain people, okay? So that's your intuition. That's your gut feeling. So if you're that's like saying going to a scary place, like that is going to be scary energy. If you're in a place that feels fun and happy and light, like Disneyland, that's like a magical, fun energy, right? So it's like that. Where you put your energy is where you are going to actually be literally putting your energy. So that means that whatever environment that you spend the most time in is going to be the kind of experiences that you call to yourself. So if you're in a lot of negativity, you'll probably see that there's a lot of negativity in your life. If you're around people that treat you like crap, you're probably noticing that a lot of people treat you like crap. If people tend to enjoy being around you, you'll tend to be around people that want to be around you and enjoy being around you. So really, it's that law of attraction, and it's what it is, the energy that you have is the energy that you attract. So we are energy. That's what I'm getting at. Talking about the past lives, parallel lives, and dreams, like I said, we are not linear beings. Like, everything is. So, you know, when I talk about manifesting and the law of attraction and things like that, or you might have heard people say, oh, act as if you already have it. That concept, like, yeah, that's a true concept, but I think that people either don't teach it correctly, or people don't really understand what that means, so they don't end up doing it the right way. Like they might say, just pretend like, yeah, I already have this, or yeah, somebody's going to give this to me, or whatever. But the concept is actually true. It's not pretending that it's already there. It is already there. The minute you think something, you immediately create it. It's like immediate, okay? The difference is the belief and where your belief is and how close you are to attaining it. So if you think that it's in your future, if you don't think that you have it or have access to it, you are going to just keep it away from you. But if you have this intent and you have this knowledge that once I think this, I create it, that means it is out in the ethers. It's there, okay? The difference between how soon it is that you actually get it is how soon you believe that you have it. So the concept of it already is actually true. You don't have to pretend. It's actually already true. So that being said, I'm just trying to get your guys' head around the fact that everything happens at the same time. I don't believe that energy is linear. I just believe that energy is. It just is, okay? It just is. And what energy you're around is what you see in your experience. Now, when people say past lives, it's usually lifetimes that have affected, that they've been in. And many people have had many lives. So in my terms, I would say everybody has many lives going on at the same time. So I don't care if you want to refer to it as past life, go ahead. I mean, it doesn't matter. People talk about that. I'm just trying to give you the concept of everything's happening at the same time, because I believe more in parallel lives than a linear concept of past lives. I believe it's all going on at the same time, and I'll tell you why. So that's where dreams come in. Well, they can come in, they don't have to come in. But, who really knows? Is your awake state really your awake state, or is your awake state really your dream state? Okay? You don't really know. You might be saying, okay, in my lifetime, I'm, watch YouTube, and this is my area, and this is where I go to work, and this is my car, and this is my reality. So it might seem really real. But what if that is really a dream that you're dreaming and you're seeing? You don't really know what is what if you really think about it. So the other thing is that so a lot of times when I dream, I have I don't know if this happens to any of you, but there are dreams that I have, and they may not be every night, but they're recognizable dreams. Like they would be, for instance, for a long time I had this dream where it was the same people that I have in my lifetime when I'm awake, okay? But in that dream state, those people act different. And so say somebody that was my boyfriend at the time was, a generally nice person in this lifetime, but in the dream state, he was always like not nice and treating me really lousy. And so I started to recognize that, I'd wake up and I'd go, gosh, I had that dream, and this is how he acts in those dreams. That's so weird. And so it was like, I knew that in at least 2 lifetimes, I am having this experience with this person, probably more lifetimes. And, they can even be dated in just like different time frames or whatever. But I totally knew that those things were running alongside. When I broke up with him, I stopped having those dreams, those other dreams. Now, you could think, well, maybe you're creating those dreams and that's your subconscious. And in your subconscious, you think he's really a crappy person. Anything's possible. But I just got familiar with that dream setting, and I knew that that's what it was. So now let's talk about past lives and dreams. So I've had experience with that too. I used to always have this dream. It was so scary. Well, for a while, for many years in my life, I had a lot of scary dreams. Like I always had scary dreams. Like, I mean, maybe not every dream, but I had a lot of scary dreams. And I'm so glad I don't have that anymore because I don't like scary dreams. But I had this reoccurring dream that I would be running away from somebody. And whenever that dream would kick in, in my dream, I'd go, oh my gosh, there's that dream again. And I would just immediately get scared because I knew how it always ended. So this is how the dream went. I would start running. It would always be in some kind of a field or something. And this person chasing me would be like running after me, but for whatever reason, I couldn't run. Like my legs wouldn't work. I would try to run and I couldn't barely run. And so then I tried to run backwards to see if I could run that way faster. I tried to run all different ways just to see if I could like get my legs to move and run. And I would run and I would finally get to a car. It always ended up this way. I would jump in a car, and as I was jumping in the car, I would say, I'm not going to get this door locked in time. I always knew how it was going to end. And I'd go to try to lock the door, and of course, I never got the door locked on time. And they opened the door, and then the dream would just shut off. So that was scary because it was always the same thing, and I always never got that door locked. So this was like going on for years. And one day I was at this class, and I don't know how many years ago, this may be 20 years ago now. And we were doing this thing where we were taking taking a veil off of your third eye so you could see more clairvoyantly. So it was like taking a block off your third eye so you would have better access to your intuition and your, third eye and seeing the unseen and all that. So what we were supposed to do was pretend like we were like ripping off a Band-Aid and then just put our hand there, and that's a form of psychometry. So when you're like touching something, when your hand's touching something, whether it's a solid object or energy, you can get information that way. So they, were doing it to me, and she starts to tell me this dream. Exactly the dream. Every single part till the end. Until she says, but you get in the car and they get in. Like you didn't lock it in time, and then they killed you. So that was the part that I never saw. I never saw the killing part. I saw straight up to that, but never saw the killing part. She saw the killing part. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is this dream that I always have. Why do I have this? And then she goes, and this person that's in this dream, this person in this lifetime. And it's a female. In my dream, it feels like a guy, but I don't think I really see who it is. I always just feel like it's a guy, but she said it's a female in this lifetime, but it was a guy in that other lifetime. And you know who it is. And so all of a sudden, just that person came to my head. I knew exactly who it was. I mean, I never would have thought it, but it just came to my head, and it was one of my bosses when I was working in corporate America. At that time, I was still working. And I'm always working, but working in like a normal job. So it was this woman, and I thought, oh my gosh, she killed me in a past life. She ain't killing me in this life, because I did not like her. I mean, I would get along with her because I had to, and being professional and everything, but she was a jerk. And so when she would start acting up with me, when I went back to work, oh my gosh. So yeah, let me continue that story. So I'll go back to this in a minute. So after I found out it was her, I went back to work and everything. And she comes to my desk, and I had been gone because I was at this class. And she just starts yelling at me for no reason. And that wasn't really normal. She didn't normally just do that. She was just not a nice person. And I was like shocked. And I look at her like, why is she yelling at me right now? So I look at her and I go, why are you yelling at me? Like, I don't even know why you're yelling at me. So she looked shocked when I said it to her because she probably didn't know why she was either. But what happens is when you cut deep cords, like when she found that lady found that lifetime and stuff, of course, there's always an energetic cord between you and whoever it is. That's why I kept getting that dream and it kept staying alive. And so when you cut those attachments, those energetic attachments, the person that is attached to it will usually contact you in some way. And either they'll be really nice or really mad, but they usually will show up one way or another. And the thing is that they feel the disconnection and either they're happy about it or they're pissed off about it. And they don't really know this, but it happens all the time because I've done this a million times with other people now, and I've done lots of deep cord cuttings and stuff. It always happens. So she didn't know why she was yelling, and then I thought, she goes, come to my office. And so I guess she was going to continue to do that, yell at me or whatever, or get mad. So I went down. I went down the hallway, and I'm walking to her office, and I'm thinking in my head, "You killed me in a past life. I'll be damned if you're going to kill me in this lifetime. Hell no." And I ended up quitting my job that day. I actually didn't. I was gonna quit, and I went to her office, and long story short, basically, I don't know what came over me, but I was like, you know what? I think I should leave my job. And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then of course, she didn't want me to because I'm a super good employee and stuff. And so then she says, "Well, let's talk about this. Why would you want to quit?" And I go, "Well, I just can't work full time anymore. I want to go part time, and I don't know that you would do that. So it's probably just a good idea if I quit." And so she's like, "No, we can do that. We can, change your hours and stuff like that." So it was kind of funny. Anyway, so going back to this whole other story of seeing this past life, it was actually coming in my dream all the time, and it wasn't until we did that exercise and that person found it that that she could tell me. And then once that was done, I never had that dream again until recently. So that was like 20 years ago. I don't know if it was the same dream. I don't think it was running. I think it was something like trying to shut the door and not getting it shut on time, though. Something similar to that, but not that running thing. That running thing was so frustrating because my legs were like sandbags. I could not run. So that's why I'm saying that I believe that all of these past lives, parallel lives, and dreams can definitely be related. And that's why I'm saying I don't really believe in past lives, but I believe in everything's happening at the same time, which is the parallel lives. Because how am I accessing a past life in a dream? In a dream. So I probably wasn't in a dream. I was probably in this other lifetime, and reliving it and reliving it and reliving it and reliving it. Okay, so it was like stuttering. So a lot of times these kind of things will happen where you just, if you keep getting reoccurring dreams, that's usually something you probably should, if you can't figure it out yourself, get help with that and see where it might be hindering your life. And, see who comes to your mind when you think about it. Because at the minute that she said I knew the person, it was a woman, I knew exactly who it was. And I don't know how I knew. It was my intuition just telling me. But it was so true, she was so pissed off when I came back to work. The other thing is that, there's also like totally lucid dreaming where you're having a dream, but you're awake in the dream. You're awake having a dream. So, dreams can be like seen on different levels. And I remember a lot of my dreams. So like pretty much every morning I would remember at least one or two dreams. Also, your deceased loved ones show up in your dreams a lot of times. My sister just passed in July, and 2 nights ago, I had a dream with her in my dream, and she was trying to tell me something. So this was interesting. Actually, I was trying to give her a reading in the dream. It was hilarious. not really hilarious. It was really ironic because I was trying to tell her a reading, but it was actually really true. So I was having a dream, telling her a reading to tell her some information that she needed to know. But it's actually like in my awake state, it's actually true. So when I was telling her in the dream, she was like very distracted and not really paying all the way attention. And finally I'm like, hey, do you want to hear this, this reading, this guidance? She goes, well, yeah, but it's too complicated. Like it's very complicated the way you're saying. I just like things really straightforward. And it was true. It was really complicated the way it was coming out. But I'm like, okay. So I just told her, well, ABC. And then she didn't really seem to care, even though it's true. And so I was like, okay, well, I told her. And then one of my other sisters was in the dream too. And so, yeah, I got into it with her a little bit. But it was, okay, so then I woke up the next morning and I was like, wow. So I had a dream about her and I was like telling her this and all of this. And I was just like, it's just as if she showed up to me and, because I can see deceased people. So if I was awake and I had the conversation, it would be like that, right? But she wanted to let me know that I was, that she was definitely in my dream, because the weirdest thing happened. So she started giving me signs. And I didn't need it, but I guess she wanted to really let me know that was like really happened. So I was on Instagram that morning, and one of the first posts I see is somebody that I know, and she posts that she, how people get those subscription boxes once a month from different places, makeup or crystals or food or whatever. So she was like, this is my box that I got this month, and it has this crystal, and it has this, I don't even remember what it had in it. I don't know if it had a book or, I don't know. It had like 5 things. But the one thing she didn't like draw the attention to was that there was an oracle card. So you guys know what an oracle card is, right? Something like, a card like this. So the card's sitting there, and it's just sitting there, and I look at it, and it says "Easy Does It" on it. And so, I was doing some journal pages of my sister in my journal. Oh, I am doing it. It's taking a long time. And one of the pages is a picture of her on a camel when she came on my Egypt spiritual journey one year in 2010. And I have a picture I took of her on the camel. The camel's looking at her, and the 3 big pyramids are behind her. It's like just an awesome picture. And I love that picture. And I always remember that her camel's name was Easy Does It. And she had just had brain surgery, like less than a year before she went on that trip with me. So she was still recovering. So she's still going through a lot. But I thought, how great that her camel's name was Easy Does It, because that totally fits with what's going on with her. So I had just done the journal page. I haven't finished it yet, but I had put the picture and painted it, and then I have this sticker, and I have a whole bunch of stickers, and I saw one of them said Easy Does It on it, and I was like, oh, perfect, that's the name of the camel. So I put that on the page. It's the only thing that's on the page. So when I saw that Instagram post and I see this card in the background that says Easy Does It on it, I'm like, oh gosh, okay. So Gwen's like trying to just say, hey, that was true, but that did happen. And then she gave me 2 other little hints throughout the day after that. And they're not little hints, it's just very obvious, because she's like, getting my attention and telling me. So yeah, so all of those things interact. And I also want to say, I won't get too much into this just to keep it short, but your lifetimes can all affect you, because you're connected to all of those things. So just like that dream of that, me being chased and all that frightening stuff, like that was in the dream, and then in my awake state I had this boss that's not that nice, like, so I'm dealing with it in two ways. But once I found that past life that was coming through in a dream, and I handled it, then the stuff between me and her, it just fizzled out. Like I didn't have an issue with her anymore. So when you can determine these past lives or parallel lives that are affecting your life, and you can resolve them, you'll find that you don't have certain blocks anymore. So, I'm the founder of Light Activation Healing. So I do most of the work that I do are healings. So when I am like working on somebody, if I find past lives, and it's, pretty, at some point throughout we do several healings together, depending on what's going on, I usually will find some kind of past life at some point. And I will see how it is blocking them. Like I'll see the past life, I'll see what it was, and then I ask like, okay, well, how is this affecting this person? So depending on where I find it around the body, like a common area is the knee, and I'll see lots of tangled energy in the knee area. And when I see those tangles, I know, look for a past life, because those tangles are past life tangles. So I'll look outside, usually in the aura somewhere. It's usually in the emotional body, but it could be in the mental, your thoughts or your connection to God. It can be anywhere. But I'll see it, and I know I'll get the story. So, one hint is if it's in the knee, whenever you have any issue, like, whether it's something that physically, or like me, I was seeing the energetic tangling, anything to do with the leg or the foot, it would mean that you would have a hard time moving forward. It would mean that you have a block to moving forward. So moving forward means getting what you want, achieving your goals, getting out of where you're at. Maybe you don't, you want better, but you just can't seem to do it. Usually there's some sort of block that's keeping you from moving forward. And so in some cases, it's a past life. So when you can find that and then resolve it, then you're able to, it's not in your way anymore. So that's the importance of getting healings, because with somebody that knows what they're doing, there's a lot of people that do a lot of healings, but you need to find someone that knows how to dig in deep and see a lot of stuff, okay? And that only comes with a lot of experience. Now, I train a lot of people to do healings, and they would be really good because I have trained them how to look. I train them to go further and deeper, and I train them where to look. Like I give them all that guidance. But a lot of people, I have to say that it's my niche. That's just something that I'm super good at, is doing healings. It's just natural for me. It always has been. So when you're trained by somebody that knows how to do it really easily, you get them to springboard. You get the extra information to open your intuitive abilities to see more, know where to look, know what things mean, understand it, and know how to fix it. So there's a lot of people that do healings, but it doesn't mean they're excellent at doing it. And I'm not, judging anyone. I'm not even calling out names. I'm not into that. I do what I need to do. And there's no competition as far as I'm concerned. I'm not from that school of competition, because I know that the people that really need me will find me. And yeah, that's just the way it is. So I've been doing this for over 20 years. So it's not like I was just born yesterday. And I'm saying professionally, not in my, all my life I've been intuitive. I started seeing, I was seeing spirits since I was a little kid, like 3 years old. I probably saw them before then, but I don't remember. But yeah, I've always seen them. So I've always been intuitive. So yeah, so it's a gift I have. So anyway, I just want to say that these lifetimes, these dreams, these parallel lives, these past lives, they definitely can affect you. And if you feel like there's something like you just can't get over, or you just can't get through, or you just can't succeed in, that's the kind of work that I do, is help people by telling them what those things are. Because if you don't know, then how are you ever going to get rid of it? You could spend a lifetime and never getting what you want because you don't know what it is. It's really beneficial. And just getting energy work is it's just like getting your hair cut or going for a checkup or getting your teeth cleaned. Like, you need to do taking a shower. It's like a energetic shower, you got to do it. It's just like doesn't last forever. So and then if there are specific problems in your life that you can't seem to solve, whether it's a medical issue or a emotional issue or a thought that just keeps hounding you, or you don't know what it is, that's when you need to see somebody like me that can get in and see what's there and what you can do to move that and open up to better. So that's my work. And it's priceless, really. Because if somebody could tell me what's in my way, if I've been struggling with something for a long time, and somebody can tell me what that is, I that's worth paying for, if you ask me. So, but this isn't a thing for me. I'm just saying that there's help out there for this kind of stuff. And, sometimes, I think doctors are great, and I think there's definitely a place for them. I go to the doctor too, And, but when there's those things that for some reason they can't help you with, you got to seek it other ways. So just know that past lives, parallel lives. So imagine if you're living like 100 parallel lives all at the same time. As much as they can affect you negatively, they could also affect you positively. So you know how you might have memories. This will be my last point, because this is such a big topic. I could go on for days, but trying to give you a broad sweep, but also give you information to help you understand it. But you ever go, like a lot of times people might go travel, like say go to Egypt or go to Peru or whatever, go to India, doesn't matter. You go and you travel and you go, God, I don't know, I just feel like I've been here before. Or you just really resonate with it. It just feels like, not just like, oh, I really love this place. No, a feeling you get deep inside that says, I don't know, I have a connection here. So, that's why I take people on spiritual journeys, because I want them to find those connections, because those are deep, deep, deep soul connections. And I was I was doing a reading for someone today, and they were asking me, they wanted to know what their purpose and their passion is. And I said, okay, so purpose and passion are two different things. So passion is usually second chakra related, which is like the second chakra that's below your belly button. So that's where all your sexual organs are and everything. So it's usually, passion is like, not always, but passion usually kicks in with some sort of desire or lust or wanting or craving. Like, that's a typical passion. Now, some people have passions that's like, oh, this is my passion. But if they really checked within, it might be a heart passion. But when you're talking passion, that really gets deep into that second chakra of desire. Okay, so that's a different feeling than purpose. So purpose is much more heart related. That's soul connection. Your soul is always whispering to you. And how often do you go deep inside and listen to it? How often? I mean, I'm listening to my soul a lot, because that's just the work I do. So when I take people on spiritual journeys, that's what we're doing. We're opening that up. And we're uncovering that part of us that is probably the most important part of who we are, is our soul. We're living these lifetimes so our souls can grow and experience and understand and become more and more of who we are. And so the more experiences we can have, the more we understand ourselves. That's why I'm always encouraging people, do things out of the box. Do things you wouldn't normally do. Go experience. Go experience what, even if you say, I'd never do that, go do it. I mean, of course, not something to hurt yourself. But I'm talking, like if, you never, traveled to Timbuktu and I don't know, you have a feeling to go there, but you never traveled in your life, but you just feel that, just go do it, And the more you just experience yourself, the more that you start opening these little doors that would stay shut if you didn't have these experiences. So that's why I take people on spiritual journeys, because wherever we go, it's not just about going to the place and having a good time. It's about going to the place, and I'm really specific about where we're going, what kind of energy is there, and what we're going to do there to open ourselves up, to have a clearing, and to embrace more of ourselves. So every place that we go in Egypt will be a different experience. Every place that we go in Peru will be a different experience. And by the time you finish, you're just like, oh my gosh, like you are a different person in a good way. And some people are afraid to be a different person, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. People have a hard time with, believe it or not, some people block themselves from having money, from having love, from having a peaceful life, because they're so used to being poor or not having love or having a chaotic, negative life. They get so used to it that even if they have the chance to change it, they don't. They block themselves from it because that would mean they'd have to change. And a lot of people don't want to do that. I like to change. I'm always changing. But, my life number is a 5. That's what I do. It's not easy, but I love knowing myself more. I love experiencing myself more. And sometimes it's hard and I'm not feeling good. And but it's through that I can understand my internal workings. And you have to be brave enough to look at that stuff. And all these people that talk about shadow work, oh, you got to do your shadow work. I have no problem with shadow work, but I don't think people should just go there all the time. If you need to look at a shadow, your shadow is going to come up for you to look at. You don't have to go seek in the shadow all the time. Okay, so not every change or every transformation or every healing has to come from something dark. Great if you want to, if you feel guided to, or something comes up, yes, don't ignore it, but you don't have to go dig in that all the time, okay? If there's something you need to know, it's going to come to you. You don't have to go seeking anything, in fact. Anything that's in your way, anything that's blocking you, anything that you need to heal, whether you know what it is or not, it's always coming to you. What's next is always coming to you, but it's up to you to recognize that that's what's happening and do something with it. And be brave enough to do something about it. So life I don't want to say it's complicated. It's not when you can kind of go with the ebb and flow of, yeah, I'm here, but I also have all these lifetimes. And, when I was talking about the good part that you can connect to in some of these parallel lives, like what if you wanted love, and you just know in one of your parallel lives, there's got to be a time that you had great love. So go access that parallel life and springboard off of that energy, draw that energy to you in this lifetime. Just as a lifetime could be hindering you, you could have another lifetime that can help you. And I was just listening to this other lady who does healings, and she was talking about, you have all these, I don't know if she called it lifetimes, but something she was saying to that reference. But she's like, I had 10 others, and I don't want all those lifetimes. I'm living this lifetime right now. So I just wiped out all those lifetimes because I just need to be right here. And I thought, you know what? That's so limiting. Why? Okay. We always talk about, when people are on their spiritual journey, it's about expansion. This incense is blowing in my face. It's about opening your heart, bigger and bigger and expanding your ability to love, to receive, to embrace, to be part of, to open to all that you want to open to. And as humans, we tend to limit ourselves, close ourselves off to things. We don't see that expansion. That's something that you've got to be aware of and put attention to fully start creating that in your life. Because the more expanded you can be, the more you can allow into your life. So say you wanted more love or more money or more happiness. So if you're only open this much, you have this much room to receive more. But if you expand yourself by opening your heart and opening your life and opening your, just being more open-minded to it all, you just start opening more. Now you've got all this much room to receive whatever it is that you want to receive. And then more and more and more. So when people limit themselves or shut themselves down or block people off from their lives or whatever these things that we do to shut people out, go into our little caves, then, we're closing off to that goodness that we could have. And, it's okay to have a lot of lifetimes. That's who we are. Why would you want to just delete them all? Because you could be getting a lot of benefit from that. And not only that, like I said, maybe this lifetime is just a dream. So who knows? Maybe you just wiped out your life. She could have died in all those lifetimes. She might be a dead person right now. Seriously, that's how that stuff works. You don't know. You don't know. We don't know. Okay, we do not know. So I was going to read, I'm talking to my phone. I was going to read this thing that I saw on Instagram. It's like we're all in this universe and nobody has any idea where we are. Okay? So just be open to the concept. Do you need to know? You need to know whatever you want to know. Okay? Just be open to the exploration. Because when you open your mind to possibilities and thoughts, when you ponder that stuff, you're expanding your consciousness. You're seeing beyond just this, like, this is my life, and when I'm asleep, that is my dream. Like, there is a lot more to it than that, okay? So, like, when I can tap into deceased loved ones, like, if I only thought this is my life, and when I'm asleep, that's when I'm asleep, like, I'm missing out on a whole broad range of stuff. I was you know what? I never cared about going to Yosemite. I'm from California, grew up, born and raised California. And I didn't go to Yosemite till I think I was probably, I don't know, something like 47. And no, maybe, I don't know, 45, something like that. And I just never really cared about, I wasn't resisting it, but I just never went and I never really said I want to go there. And one day, just that was like a spur of the moment thing. I went with my boyfriend at the time. And when we got to the park and we drove in, I see this flashback. And I see all of these natives being killed by white men. Just like whole villages, fires and killing and all is I was just driving, we were just in the car. I wasn't trying to tune into anything. All of a sudden I just saw this vision and I just started bawling my eyes out because I was one of those people. And I saw the whole thing. It was so awful. I was just bawling my eyes out. And what made it worse was my boyfriend at that time was one of those white men that did the killing. And I had to look at him and I was just sick because we were both in that lifetime. And he wiped out my whole, not just him, but many of them, wiped out my people and displaced me and left me without my husband. And it was devastating. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know when these things might pop up. You might look at a picture and something just triggers a memory. So pay attention to that stuff, because there's always something that's trying to get through to us. So that was like, after I experienced that, I was like, no wonder I never cared about coming up here. Like, I never thought about it. I wasn't like trying not to go. I thought it was weird that I never cared about going. And it didn't take more than 5 minutes into the park for me to have that vision. And that was just horrifying. So it can happen anytime. It can happen in your awake state. It could happen looking at a painting. It could happen in your dream state. It can happen in a conversation. Just pay attention. And I'm going to do probably a video on dream interpretation at some point. This one's probably gone on way too long. I have no idea. Oh, yeah. I always think only make it 15 minutes, and 45 minutes later, here I am. But, if you're interested in this, at least it's good content that you can take and start thinking about things in your life and how, maybe you're being affected, or if you need help through something, or maybe you have a reoccurring dream yourself, or maybe you have something reoccurring in your life that happens a lot. I mean, anything that's reoccurring, those are the things you want to make sure you're looking at. Whether it's a reoccurring thought or a reoccurring type of relationship, or a reoccurring dream, or just anything that's reoccurring, or something that gets your attention that is reoccurring, you want to look at that. Why? Start asking the questions. That's what you want to do, is ask questions, because when you ask questions, it gives the universe, your angels, your guides, or, whatever energy that's ready to help you with it, permission to give you more information. So you can say, like, what is it that I need to know about this? It keeps recurring. What is it that I need to know about this? And just sit with it. Like, how does it make you feel? That's like the first thing you can do, is sit with your body and think about it and say, when I think of this situation, how do I feel? And then, pinpoint, 1 or 2 emotions or feelings, and then say, when was the first time I've ever felt this way in my life, in this life? When have I felt this? And it might be something from when you were a childhood, and, it's like, oh my gosh, that thing has still been affecting me all this time. Like, I didn't even know this was, related to that thing that happened to me when I was 7. And so, you'll get that you're always, being shown what you need to heal. So, that's why things will reoccur. It's trying to get your attention. It's trying to get your attention. And until it gets your attention, and until you do the work to heal it, it's just going to keep reoccurring and reoccurring. And guess what? If you don't work through those things, then you're just going to have the same reoccurrence. It's only when you get through something that you can get to the next step in your life. So it's worth doing the work so you can get to the next step, and then you'll see the next thing that is there for you, and work on that, and then get to the next thing. That's why I'm saying you don't have to go diving around into, the shadow work. Like, yeah, it's important. Don't ignore it. But if you need to go there, you're going to get the signal. Believe me. It's not like you have to go seeking it out. It will come if you need it. So just pay attention. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I don't know. I was like, don't get on tonight. It's late already. And I'm like, I don't know. I just had this urge to come on here and talk about this. So I did. So anyway, have a great weekend. I hope this was helpful. And if you want to know more about my work, make sure that you subscribe to this channel, first of all. And second of all, check out my website. It's in the description below. And, like my videos, share my videos. That always helps. I'm always I'd love to grow my station. It grows pretty slow. I should change that belief. But I've had a channel for a really long time, but I didn't do a lot with it for a while. And I'm not always consistent. That's my downfall. But yeah, if you guys can help by liking and sharing all that stuff, super cool. So thank you, and I will see you guys all later. Peace out. Take care of yourselves.